Imagine a world where even the dead couldn't rest in peace. A world so strange you had to lock your loved ones in a cage after they were buried. This isn't a horror movie plot. This was the reality in 18th century Scotland. So, what was going on? Something truly disturbing. Grave robbing. At the time, medical schools were booming, but they had a serious problem. They desperately needed bodies for anatomical study, but strict laws meant they could only legally get a handful of them, usually from executed criminals. This created a huge, and very grim, demand. Enter the resurrection men. These weren't zombies. They were grave robbers who worked under the cover of darkness. They would dig up freshly buried corpses and sell them to doctors and anatomists. It was a gruesome but profitable business. As you can imagine, families were absolutely horrified. The thought of a loved one's final resting place being desecrated was unbearable. People were so desperate they started organizing nightly watches, standing guard in graveyards with lanterns and weapons. But this was exhausting and not always effective. So, a clever, if rather macabre invention was born. The Mortsafe. The name says it all. Mort meaning death, and safe. It was literally a safety cage for the dead. These weren't just simple fences. They were heavy, intricate iron contraptions, like a jail cell for a coffin. They were built with thick metal bars, complex locks, and heavy stone bases, making them almost impossible to move or break into. A Mortsafe would be placed over a fresh grave and locked tight. The idea was simple: keep the body secure until nature had taken its course. And the corpse was no longer useful to the resurrection men. These Mortsafes weren't cheap, so they were often owned by the local parish and rented out to grieving families for a few weeks. Once the danger had passed, the Mortsafe would be removed and used for the next burial. It was a community solution to a community-wide problem. Eventually, the laws changed. The Anatomy Act of 1832 made it easier for medical schools to legally obtain bodies, and the dark trade of grave robbing slowly faded away. With it, the need for the Mortsafe vanished. But if you visit some old Scottish kirkyards today, you can still find them. Rusted, silent, and incredibly eerie. They stand as a bizarre monument to a time of fear and desperation. They are a window into one of history's strangest chapters, a time when people had to build cages not to keep things in, but to keep ghoulish thieves out. A cage for the dead, reminding us that sometimes the strangest stories are the true ones. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you found this as fascinating as I did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more strange histories. See you next time.